Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
The star, Rachel Zegler, unbelievably charmless in public.
She was, woke as they are.
She just sounds bitter and angry.
I don't think they're going to buy it. I don't think they're going to watch it. I don't think they're going to like it.
Every time she speaks, she gets less likable.
This truly is the worst casting, maybe, in the history of the film industry.
Rachel Zegler, she's an asshole.
You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White, right? You should shut up.
Spend 1 minute on Snow White and how it totally imploded at the box office this weekend.
Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim, and that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds. Like, she acts like her life is so bad.
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion, but the reality is she's just not stable. Like the majority of people in Hollywood, they're just not stable human beings. I would highly advise that you boycott this film, no matter how much your children love Snow White.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
They spent $170 million to make the thing, and it had the lowest open, under $50 million, of any live-action Disney remakes they've ever had.
And you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's lose money on this movie, and I believe it only made less than $1 million in China.
If Disney wants to make more woke films that tank the box office, they are more than welcome to do that, but maybe think of an original idea.
A few lessons for Disney. Number one, stop cannibalizing all your old ideas. Like, it's really bad. It's really bad business. Number two, please stop changing all the historic plots, which actually have meaning to generations of people, to instead become generic woke story about how woman leads revolutionary uprising and she don't need no man.
What if a Disney classic was ruined by a single spoiled actress before the credits had even rolled? The live-action Snow White film from Disney was expected to be a huge smash. Big budget, famous tale, immediate financial gain. Instead, Rachel Zegler is the one holding the match in this smoldering pile of failure. It is about a harsh, entitled celebrity with a woke chip on her shoulder turning a fairy tale into a nightmare, and it is not just about a movie flopping. She made sure this remake crashed badly by disparaging the original and starting internet arguments. This is how everything went wrong.
And to constantly say things that are like just atrocious because they're looking for attention and they can never have enough of it. They can never have enough of it.
Before the backlash slammed like a brick, Disney believed they had found a princess. She had that beginner glow, and she could sing, yes. However, supporters went crazy as soon as the news was revealed. They shouted on the internet that Snow White should be as pale as snow. Yes, she had received a Golden Globe, but this was Disney. People demand modesty, not arrogance.
And accusing Disney of inserting unnecessary feminism into classic fairy tales.
She's not going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There is a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
She spit on the classic, not simply snatched the role. By 2022, Zegler was working on the movie's press, which was already in disarray due to COVID and $1 million set fire. 37 Disney became a household name thanks to Snow White.
These big bad feminists now are telling us it's ridiculous. How dare you want to meet a handsome prince and be swept off of your feet and live happily ever after? No, you should be the prince. You should want to go out and fight bad guys with a sword.
It's just a really incredible story for young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign.
They have been making this film for a very long time because it's just been so scandalized. It's been, and so they had to basically put it on ice after people were firstly outraged by Rachel Zegler speaking ill about the prior film, the film that she was remaking. And it's such a weird thing for their pitch as feminists to be, is like, best thing you can strive to be as a man. Everything will be great once we just act exactly like men. There's nothing special being a woman. Let's just be men. Just doesn't feel like we're winning.
So no prince or a different kind of... I'm sure a lot of people will assume it's a love story just because we cast Di in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnett, great dude. Yep. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Who the hell are you to say all of Andrew's scenes could get cut? Who are you?
Oh my God.
Are you Disney? I've read your book, and I have. It's a phenomenal book. You're losing generation of loyal viewers. When you think about Snow White, what is the premise? What is the story?
It's a love story.
It's a dream for a girl to grow up and a man falls in love.
I'm real upset that it's the biggest theory is that it's anti-men. She called him a stalker.
The fans were furious. Who is this girl to ruin our youth? Her entire demeanor exuded entitlement, as if she were too talented for the narrative she was compensated to tell. She continued, boasting that the romance had been dropped in favor of a girl boss twist in the new version.
An interview clip that you read the quote from, but she's gone on to talk about this film numerous times, how she once thought Snow White was creepy, she doesn't like the prince, she thinks she should get paid more because she has to wear that dress, get paid for streaming, for every hour she has to wear the dress. I mean, talk about biting the hand that feeds you.
Then they got even crazier and decided that the dwarves in Snow White weren't woke enough, okay?
These are roles made for actors of my stature. I can't go out for the Harrison Ford or the George Clooney roles because that's not for me. Right. And now it's taken away. I don't feel that's right.
Did the dwarfs make it or no?
Well, the CGI dwarfs did. Of course, that goes back to the original controversy where Peter Dinklage, a very talented little person actor, said, why are we doing that? We've hired a Latina actress to be Snow White. That's progressive. But hired little people to play the dwarf, that just seems like a step backwards. And then, of course, Disney instantly buckled and said, okay, we're going to add magical creatures.
We will include supernatural creatures. For the dwarfs, a single large mouth transformed everything. On a podcast, the Game of Thrones character blasted Disney for continuing to act like a backward dwarf. He was furious. Overnight in 2022, and everyone is woke and proud. We are eschewing stereotypes. Acting as though she had personally saved the day, she posted.
Is this process now where it's like in order to be inclusive, you have to completely destroy storylines, completely destroy franchises. I don't believe in that. I don't think that consumers believe in that either.
Peter Dinklage, you're rich. We're not. We're trying to be extras or, we're in Johnny Knoxville's Jackass if we're lucky. And so for them, they're like, you're not going to cast us to be inclusive and progressive. But these guys at Disney, they're not that bright. They're not that smart. And we see that because they can't come up with any new IP.
The same bright blobs that resembled toys from the dollar store. Supporters dismissed them with laughter. The situation was made worse by actors who referred to it as having a "I know best" attitude. The production was already a complete failure. There have been delays, reshoots, financial losses, and now this. It was a decaying fairy tale.
But you are not entitled to call for Trump supporters to be harmed. You are actually not entitled to do that. And so let me just remind you, Rachel Zegler, of what the map looks like, just so you understand when your Disney movie is coming out, how many people you are wishing harm upon. Like this is America right now.
Her impolite remarks turned into Disney's biggest adversary. Instead of remaining silent, Fast Zegler went all diva. She lambasted following the U.S. election.
I will love you through these 4 years as best I can. F Donald Trump. Yeah, totally stable thing for her to posting, wishing harm upon Trump voters, wishing that we have no peace.
And they postponed the release of this thing, Ben, for a year because its star, Rachel Zegler, was so unlikable, told all Trump supporters that they could f off, excuse me, but she did. That was just a number. They didn't even know she was going to do that one. Said she hated Snow White, mocked the fact there was a prince, and that she fell in love as opposed to leaning into her own power.
The video became viral, so share her immediately. Millions of people watched as Kelly tore Zegler to pieces. Fans swore off the movie because of X's woke outburst, and boycotts of the movie exploded. She attempted to apologize while crying. I apologized emotionally, but no one took it well.
Cry me a river. She's just exactly everything that we can't stand.
One comment encapsulated it. Disney remained silent, but word got out that they wanted her fired because of her snobbish attitude, which was ruining the film before it had ever begun. Filming had already begun, and she was a walking mess, and things were only going to get worse.
Because you just can't close your mouth. You just can't be sane, even when you do open your mouth. I think this girl does not deserve a feature-length film, but rather she deserves to be in a padded cell.
You want to trash that legacy? That company that now Disney has screwed up the last 5 years trying to please a small percentage of minorities in America? Yeah, we're sick. So the more you do this, Disney, Iger, Rachel Zegler, whatever her name is. Yes, this is exactly the backlash you're going to get. Parents who have kids who are your customers. You're supposed to win parents over. You're talking to kids. The parents pay for the ticket. You have to be a dummy as a marketer to be saying, if Bob Iger, you know what we're doing? Emergency meeting. We're putting Snow White on hold for 2 years. And guess what? Pay her a couple $1 million. Go away. We're going to bring another person to play this role because you just screwed this thing up.
With a budget of more than $200 million on nostalgia and families, it debuted at $43 million in the US. Nope. The cinemas were abandoned. There were no children dressed up, only empty seats. Critics slammed it. Zegler Snow White is a dud, an awakened boring once said. Attending fans detested it. The merchandise sat unsold off because it was too didactic and unenthusiastic.
All these studios have to stop letting their actors. I mean, honestly, just shut your actors up.
Disney thought drama would instead it cost them millions. So what's next after this flop?
Because guess what? Nobody grew up with that crap. Nobody's all that interested in it. It's very good for people to learn that we need men, and also that men need women. I don't know why this fell out of fashion. We're not allowed to just say that sort of stuff anymore, but it actually happens to be the truth.
Drama, Disney believed, would sell. They lost millions instead. What comes after this failure, then? Hollywood is booming. Disney regrets everything. The consequences are severe. Remake plans are reportedly ruined, layoffs are imminent, and Disney executives are sweating out. According to an insider,
Disney's Snow White was essentially a box office dud. The regime that decided that wokeness needed to be infused in every movie. If they keep going along this path, they're going to go bankrupt.